Welcome back to Afraid Movies today. I will be explaining the movie Mist. Warning, spoilers ahead. The movie begins in Bridgeton, Maine, with an artist, David Drayton, his wife, Stephanie, and their son, Billy, taking shelter in their basement from a thunderstorm. The morning after, David and his family are surveying the property damage. While cleaning the mess, they notice a dense mist floating over the lake. It seems like the mist came from the mountains. They do not pay too much attention to the mist and continue with their work. David's boathouse has been crushed in the storm, so he talks with his neighbor, Brent, a lawyer. Brent gives David insurance information and legal advice about the boathouse. Brent's car was also crushed in the storm. David offers Brent to drive him into town to buy some supplies. Billy goes with them. While driving to town, they notice electric company trucks and military vehicles going in the other direction. David asks Brent if he has ever heard the conspiracy theories about the military project Arrowheads. Brent just laughs and dismisses the theory. They arrive at the supermarket, which is packed with people. While buying the supplies, suddenly they hear sirens and see police and military vehicles driving by the supermarket. A man, Dan Miller, runs into the supermarket with a bloody nose. Dan is terrified and starts screaming that there is something in the mist and killing people. Everyone in the supermarket thinks he is crazy and tries to help him. But the mist gradually and slowly starts to surround the supermarket. Very soon, you can't see anything outside the supermarket except the white fog. Dan tells everyone to close the door and to stay inside the supermarket. One woman left her children at home alone, and she is worried. She decides to go outside. Nobody in the supermarket wants to go with her. Eventually, she leaves the supermarket by herself. No one ever saw her again. David realizes they will spend probably days in the supermarket, so he checks the generator in the back room. While he is in there, he hears something outside. Soon, some kind of creature starts to press into the door. David runs to the main store. Nobody believes him about what he experienced. He says that the generator will not last long. It needs to be fixed. 5 of them go to the back room to fix the generator. They find out the generator's system is clogged outside. A bag boy, Norm, volunteers to go outside to unclog the generator's system. David warns him that it is not safe to go outside. Norm and others ignore David. They open the garage door. Immediately, the thick mist enters the room. Suddenly, a large tentacle grabs Norm by his leg. David and others try to help Norm. David manages to chop off one of the tentacles with an axe. Nevertheless, the creature successfully drags Norm outside and rips him apart. They close the garage door. The men go back to the main store and tell Brent and the others what happened. Brent doesn't believe them, thinking they are joking. They show Brent the chopped tentacle. But Brent still doesn't believe them, saying the mist is just a part of the storm. Brent, with a group of people, wants to leave the supermarket. One man says that when they leave, he will go to the parking lot and take a shotgun from the car and bring it to the supermarket. David suggests that the man tie up a 300-foot rope around his waist so they know if he has made it to the car. Brent and his group leave the supermarket. The man goes right behind them. Suddenly, the man's rope starts to pull him out of the supermarket. David and others try to pull the rope back. Eventually, the rope came back into the supermarket covered in blood. People start to scream and panic. They see that the man's lower part of the body is still attached to the rope. Everyone is sure that Brent and the others are also dead. They decide to barricade everything in front of the supermarket. While trapped in the supermarket, people are divided into 2 groups. One group follows David and Ollie, the supervisor, and the other group follows a religious woman, Mrs. Carmody. She believes God has sent this creature to punish people for their sins. That night, giant insects attack the supermarket. A huge predator bird starts crushing into the supermarket's window. The bird manages to break the window and enters the supermarket. Everyone starts to panic. The insects kill a young girl. People try to beat off the insects with sticks and shovels. They successfully kill the insects. The next morning, David and a group of people decide to go to the neighboring pharmacy to get medical supplies. People advise them not to go because it is too dangerous. Finally, the group leaves. They are walking through the mist and fortunately got to the pharmacy. Inside the pharmacy, they find a nest of huge spiders along with the group of people led by Brent. They encounter the military policeman strung up in the spider's web. He is barely alive. Military policeman starts mumbling how everything is the military's fault. All at once, the sores on his body start to open up. Inside, there are new baby spiders. Spiders use their bodies as a hatching ground. The group successfully retreats to the supermarket. Meanwhile, Miss Carmody starts to increase her influence. She starts offering God's protection to all new followers. David wants to talk to two soldiers in the supermarket. Unfortunately, he finds them dead. They committed suicide. The third soldier is alive. David asks him what he knows about military projects in this area. The soldier admits the scientists have found a portal to other worlds and dimensions. The project is called Arrowhead. Miss Carmody says that the portal is the door to hell. She orders to sacrifice the soldier for the military's mistakes. She says this is God's will. One of Miss Carmody's followers stabs the soldier in the stomach. While still alive, the soldier is thrown outside the supermarket. A gigantic creature approaches and kills the soldier and goes away. Miss Carmody says that the creature is satisfied for the night, but more people must be sacrificed in the future. Miss Carmody starts to talk about human sacrifice. David and others want to drive through the mist and find an area in town where there is no mist. David, Billy, Ollie, and others agree to leave the supermarket and Miss Carmody's cult. While everyone is sleeping, they try to leave, but they met Miss Carmody on their way. She and her followers prevent them from leaving the supermarket. She tells David and his son Billy that he is the next sacrifice. David tries to protect his son. Ollie shoots Miss Carmody in the stomach with his gun. He starts threatening her followers. They escape the supermarket. David and the group are outside. They run for David's car. Unfortunately, two people and Ollie are devoured by the creature. David takes Ollie's gun. They manage to get to the car and drive away. David and others are driving through the mist looking for help. They drive for hours until the car runs out of gas. They stop near David's house. David notices his dead wife trapped in a spider's web. On the streets, they see so much damage and dead people. While driving, they spot the largest creature of all, covered with thousands of smaller creatures and tentacles. The car finally runs out of gas. The car pulls over. Unfortunately, they didn't escape the mist. Billy is sleeping. David takes the gun and says to the group that there are only 4 bullets left. He suggests they should kill themselves rather than die a slow and painful death. He will stay alive and let the creatures kill him. David decides he will kill them, and the group agrees. From the car, 4 gunshots are heard. David leaves the car in agony and pain. He killed his son and others. He starts screaming so that the creatures can hear him and kill him. He wants to die. Suddenly, a loud noise is heard from the distance. Something is approaching. David is begging to die, but the creature does not appear. On the contrary, a military tank approaches. As a matter of fact, a full military battalion comes. He sees tanks, full-armed soldiers, and trucks full of survivors on the streets. Some of the survivors are people from the supermarket. One of the survivors is the woman who left first the supermarket to attend her children. She and her 2 children appear to be without a scratch and fine. David realizes he has killed his son and 3 people only seconds before the military would have saved them. They should have never left the supermarket. It was all his fault. Overwhelmed, David falls to the ground. 2 soldiers approach him, completely unaware of what David has done.